Good morning, everybody. Wow, what was that? Is that wind?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that was a cat, I think. No.
No, there's no cat. Wow. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I'm very excited to be back. This may be the new voice. I lost my voice so many times on the trip, and I think I was on, and I started to get my voice back. Anyway, it's been a journey, so I'm just accepting that this squeak may be how I sound for the rest of my life. Anyway, I'm happy to be back. It's we're in a weather event here in California, and I have nothing to complain about because I'm on top of a hill. But I'm watching the wind and the water go by. I have a lot of mud, and I've always lived, bless you,
Thank you.
places where I'm up high and I've been able to evacuate other people's horses. So we'll see. No one's needed to evacuate yet. Not that I'm set up quite. I'm getting there. But anyway, it is quite something. Is anyone here?
Oh, yeah. We've got some people. Hold on. I'm going to have to do it on. Here we go. Okay. Leslie Williams says hi. Leslie. Val Smith says good morning. Good morning, Val. Joyce Lee Leggett says hi, all. Hi.
Hi, Joyce.
And Craig Walker. Hi, Joan and all. Hang in there and Godspeed with your voice.
Hi.
I think Craig is new to the group.
Yeah, and he's, yeah. And you're in Northern California, and I'm wondering how tell us how your weather is. If you're having a weather event, whatever.
Yeah. Chris Wilson. Hi, Chris. She says
Chris.
hi and good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so we're going to do some stuff today. It's going to be kind of fun. And so we'll wait till a few more people come on. In the meantime, it's picking up speed here.
It's picking up, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to make my office a little bit clean in case we have to pan away and look at the storm. So, yeah, it's coming. Just give it a minute. We're going to be like,
Yeah.
a deluge.
Cheryl Cook says, good, extremely windy day.
Yeah, what's
Craig.
your weather like? Cheryl or?
Cheryl Cook.
Yeah.
And then Craig responded.
But I want to hear what Cheryl's weather's like too. And Chris. And Val, I know, is tucked in a community, but go ahead.
Craig Walker says, yes, horrible weather, office flooded, but we are safe and well, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, and Cheryl says it's extremely windy.
Yeah, because you're more, yeah. We have extreme wind, we're tornadoes, flood, warning, but we're high and dry.
Yeah. Chantel Giannini Corley says, nice to meet you, my first session. Welcome.
Welcome. And where are you from? Okay.
Chris Wilson says, it's been raining all night and wind, hail this morning.
Hail.
Hail, wow.
Southern California.
Katrina Tollefsrud, I'm so sorry if I butchered your name, says, frozen fog here in Minnesota. Stay safe in there in Cali.
I bet it's frozen in Minnesota. My mom is from Minneapolis. I've spent, I love Minneapolis and Minnesota.
Cheryl Cook responded, very, very windy. So far, a little rain. Internet is in and out.
Yeah. Oh my, okay, the sheets of rain are going sideways.
Oh, yeah. It's like...
Yeah.
Chantel says, thank you, Chicago. She's in Chicago. Our weather changes daily. I love Chicago.
Yeah, I love Chicago too.
Okay.
All right. So if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the school is a program for people that want to learn animal communication or become an animal communicator, learn energy healing or become an energy healer. And we have a whole nature and wildlife part of the school that's emerging, plus trips and books and all sorts of fun. I have a new book coming out called Emotional Freedom Technique for Animals. Comes out June 20th. It's on pre-order now. People can't hear me.
No, I'm just pushing you because so you don't have to raise your voice so loud.
I can project. Anyway, that's it. That's all. That's all I am.
That's all you are? That's it?
But we have so many cool things. I will say this. So many cool things about the school happening. I mean, the classes are on a break. Well, the AC level 1 picks up tomorrow. And energy healing for animals picks up tomorrow. But we just did an amazing work retreat on Thursday and Friday. We've all been on fire since, and we have this system where things are organized in projects and things. It's called Monday, and we're all getting ding, 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 like we're all tagging, like, let's make sure, so we're on fire right now with the school, and it feels so good. I mean, it was an amazing experience to go to Kenya, to be with the gorillas in Uganda, and to have that. And then I think I said in my newsletter that I pretended that I rented a cabin and that I got the chore package. But next year I'm renting the cabin with the chore and the spa package between holidays. So I had an excellent rest and just really so excited about this next year. And part of why I'm excited about this next year is it's building on what we've built upon, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Is anyone else here?
Yes.
And because of this weather, I always say that coffee cups are like oracle cards. I have a mermaid cup.
I love that cup. Leah Pancheri says, hello, Joan and Claudia. Nice to see you. Hello,
Hi,
Leah. Katrina Tollisford says, I'm new. Welcome, Katrina. She says, just signed up for energy healing last night. Looking forward to meaningful work. Yay.
Cool.
Danielle Van Amsterdam says, hello, good evening,
Hi,
good
Danielle.
morning, all.
We're trying to figure out how to do an intensive in Amsterdam, FYI. I know that someone was going to call you and talk to you, but I'm just spilling the beans. We're trying to find ways to do intensives in other parts of the world. You might have to come here for one, Danielle, but and if Nolene is on, maybe we can do it in Australia too. So these are some of the things that came out of the meeting. I mean, a lot of, making every experience better for each and every person that exists, but in the program now, but we want to expand the experience. So there.
Yeah. So there's comments popping up on your end, and Geraldine Atkins says hello.
Hello.
I know that it's missing some. I
I'm
don't know
like
what
waiting on Claudia's every word, but
yeah, yeah. Some of the
you want to scroll through on mine?
I'm afraid of messing it up because it'll. There we go. Barbara Royal says, hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Looking forward to classes starting tomorrow. Bernadette says, good morning, Joan and Claudia. Good morning,
Bernadette.
Let me see who else.
I miss my Kenya peeps.
Danielle Van Amsterdam says, wow, can't think of what that's for.
She said, wow, about the fact that we're looking, that was one of the topics.
Yes.
Getting to somewhere. England or Amsterdam or somewhere.
Chantel Giannini says, I would like to learn how to help communicate and heal my love Dasher, a cat 9 years old from lymphoma. I'm hoping this is possible.
Yeah, there's we live in a world of possibility, and that's something we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to really review were some of the highlights of last year for the school and for us as a Learn to Communicate group, Facebook group, and then in general. And so obviously a highlight for me and the school and this group, and I don't know if this particular book would pertain to trips, but a highlight for me was getting the book deal and completing and getting it in, and it's in the process of coming out. Emotional Freedom Technique for Animals comes out June 20th. So, huge highlight getting a book deal with Findhorn Press, who's with Inner Traditions, which has been around forever. And Findhorn has too, but it's got an American umbrella. So then the other thing that I think was a big highlight was I've had in my mind several things that I've wanted to do, like getting rescue calls going again. I started them in 2016 and it just didn't quite go. And it's on fire. So the outreach department that I'd always seen, like I had a big vision of it in 2015, but it took like really talking a lot with Claudia. And even when Claudia moved to Florida before she came back, you know, that got in motion because of a lot of the talks. So my dining room table is there and my desk is here, and there were talks across the room. You know what I mean? Like when you're working together, that's why I'm so grateful Claudia's back. When you're working together in person, something else happens. So, and we just had that work retreat that was so fun, and a lot really happened. But what did blossom last year were a couple of things that have really, really, really held as a vision. But like I said in my newsletter the other day, like you can sit there and have a vision to birth something, but in these cases, it takes a village. Like I couldn't have done this without Claudia and Afton and a couple other people that have just steadily taken that class and really loved it. And Animal Communication Level 4 is advanced work of working with rescues, sanctuaries, things where it's really life and death, and gritty. You just did the wildlife in rehab centers, and now we're going to do the professional animal, and then after that, animals that have been in laboratories. So it's big, and it's kind of, like I said, it's life or death work. The other thing that I'm very proud of, and again, visioned, but couldn't have birthed without Shannon, is the Animals in Transition. And Claudia's a big part of that too. And that class is beautiful, but it's also now a separate certification. So is the
Shelters and rescues.
shelters and all that. Yeah, that's also called Animal Ambassadors. So we broke out a few more certifications, or you can take it as a one-off as long as you qualify with other classes. So there's a lot that we're doing that's just, I feel like, going to be groundbreaking. And then one of the other things I've seen since 2015, and again, I don't know why that was such a great, well, it was a big visionary year for me because that was the year my other book, Energy Healing for Animals, came out. But at that time, a lot had kind of collapsed in the school. People that had been working for me had left, and it wasn't pretty. And I didn't have the other people holding up their end of the sheet, if you will, right? Like it takes four corners to hold the sheet up. And some of the other things that like Jamie and Kathy are involved in, that you know, with the shelters, that whole initiative is going to have a whole lot more momentum behind it, because now one of the big things I envisioned years ago was going in, taking animal communication and tapping into shelters and getting the most unadoptable animals, working with them really specifically on specific scripts, and getting them forever homes. And alone, for years up until I had this big vision of teaching everybody in the school how to be able to do this. And now I have some more specific qualifications with it. That I had been doing that, right? Like, so I would work with, up in Seattle, many groups, I would say who's the most unadoptable. And I have some of the craziest, greatest stories, and even some videos of, you know, one. I'll tell you one little story. There was a greyhound that was just so shut down, and it just didn't seem like she would ever get adopted. And she was being fostered in a home where there were other greyhounds. So the woman knew greyhounds, right? It wasn't like she didn't know what she was doing. That they're basically couch potatoes that can run really fast. And so she had a pretty great setup for greyhounds. She was on the board at this greyhound. Anyway, the greyhound group in Seattle, Puget Sound, I think. GPS Greyhounds, Puget Sound. Huge facility, beautiful place. I taught animal communication there. I did a lot of stuff with them. But I came in one day and this one dog was just so shut down. And I did a little bit of a communication with her. And then I used what she told me in the communication. And I told everyone in the communication. And then I used that communication in the tapping script. And what it came down to was, we can dislike dog racing, right? But this dog had been a star, and nobody had known who she was, and I had no idea, but she had told me that she had won 16 races, and I didn't know, and it turns out she'd won 16 races. So she was like, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, nobody even knows who I am. She'd been quite elevated in her community. All the other dogs, she'd been rescued from some, they just broke open a greyhound racing facility in Texas, and all the dogs got shipped to Greyhound Puget Sound, or whatever the GPS stands for. But this dog felt so unseen, and just had been then in a cage for so long. She just was so uninterested in life. So even fostering her did nothing. When I tapped on her about, nobody sees me, nobody knows me, nobody and eventually it was like, they just don't even know who I am. And literally, we probably had 10 people sitting there, and Sue Hamilton was there, and a couple other people that were in the program. She literally just came into just queendom. And the woman who was fostering her adopted her that minute. I mean, and she had a queen on her hands. She had brought the dog for me to tap on from her home, thinking she was going to probably drop her back off in one of the cages because it was not working. And she took home a queen. So, that's what this work can do in a second. And I know that it's not going to be that quick for a lot of them, because it's taken a lot of piling on of whatever that trauma is, and then more and more and more. And everybody's different, right? Like, somebody can have an experience of getting their tail caught in the door, and they're going to be like, well, I'm just going to be faster next time. And another dog can be like, I'm not going near the door. So that's where we have to individualize. We can have an overview, but we have to individualize, and that's where the communication comes into play like nothing else. So this vision is starting to happen because we have our first shelter signed up to work with us, and that starts, the book comes out June 20th. We'll be with them. We're kind of nailing down stuff, but we'll be in Michigan with our first shelter of our shelter project, and then we have another horse rescue that's very interested. So the pilot program is beginning this year. And I can say, oh, it's going to happen this year. But it was years in the making, and a lot of people helping. And so that has been the beauty. To me, one of the best things when I was laying on the couch for a week, thinking about, it is this group of people right now that we have as the core that keeps expanding out into even more great people. We are magnetizing the greatest people on the planet to help with this. And the more people we magnetize and bring in and get them trained through the school, get them going through teacher training, we're then we will empty the cages. We will empty the cages. And that is what I just envision, that this time next year I'm telling you that there's 35 to 100 shelters signed up, right? And that's kind of how I work. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the other thing that so I've got a book coming out. We've got the shelter project. We've got all these new programs in the school happening. And I think am I forgetting something great? It's also great. It's Claudia's birthday tomorrow, by the way. So anyway, one of the things that happened that I loved the other night, there were a few of us that got together, some people here.
Oh yeah.
It was very fun. And when
there may or may not have been wine and champagne.
There may or may not have been champagne and wine and the best vegan food on
Maria and Durga,
planet.
seriously.
We had a potato bar, okay? A potato bar. Yeah, we did. But anyway, the thing that I love more than anything in the world is we surprised Claudia with a birthday cake. And we had candles, and it was all set. We put it there, and she went to make a wish, and she said, I have everything. And that is where I was like, isn't that the best feeling on the planet? Like, things are growing and expanding, but we have everything. We have everything right here, right now. And that's the greatest feeling on the planet to then work from.
Yeah. That moment was eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
And we had also just come off of this high, because that's what it felt like, the retreat.
Yeah, the work
where
retreat.
Where it's just you're brainstorming and you're seeing these visions. We're putting all these things down and we're delegating and seeing, I can do it. It was just, we were sitting here for how many hours straight?
10 to 4 both days, and we went over.
We went over.
Yeah.
And I would get home like amped.
Yeah.
Home down there.
She was living in the RV, but now she's in her beautiful home.
Thank you. But it was just so powerful. Like I kept texting my husband, I am so pumped about what we are doing. Like, this isn't a job to me.
Yeah.
This is my everything. So, okay,
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of comments.
Okay, what are people saying?
Okay, so I'm going to go back and then we'll pick up. Valerie Corral, and I'm only pronouncing it that way because she says she's in Mexico. She says, hi, Joan, I love you.
I love you.
She's tuning in from Mexico.
Hello.
Leah Pancheri says, yes, about the shelter projects. Oh my God, Leah. It is.
Leah.
I can't even. Says, that's awesome. Shannon Myers. Hi, Shannon. She says,
Shannon.
so excited. Tanya says, amazing, so exciting. It is so exciting. Shannon says, the greatest people in this tribe.
Yeah.
Yes. And we want more people to join our tribe. And then people are wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you, Leah. Chris Wilson says, it's been the best work ever. I love this and your visions so much. Yep.
And we love you, Chris.
We do.
So fun.
Thank you, Craig. He wished me a happy birthday. Chris wished me a happy birthday. Thank you, Chris. Chris says the best dinner party ever.
It was ridiculous.
It was. Remind me to tell you what my son said.
Could he hear us?
No. So my son, I'm going to tell everybody. My son, he's funny. He asked me if he could come up and get food, but then he's like, I think I'm just going to stay here. So when I saw him the next morning and I told him, and we were moving the next day, and I was here until like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was fun the next day.
And you left early.
I left early. And he said, yeah, I didn't want to go up there because there was a bunch of middle-aged women drinking.
Everyone was. We were still hooting and hollering though. That's hilarious.
Oh my God. So anyway, Tanya, thank you, Tanya. Danielle Van Amsterdam says, amazing goosebumps. Yes. Stacy Krause says, hello.
Hello.
Shannon says, love our team. Joyce Lee Leggett says, happy birthday to me. Thank you. Leslie, thank you. And then Craig says, love that. When you do what you love, it is not work. It's not.
It's not work. This is not work. This is, I've always felt like from the moment I started doing animal communication, and it's going to sound, well, just it is what it is. I felt like I was doing God's work, right? Like I was doing something that I knew I was helping people and animals, and that I could, every day I just took it a step further, take it a step further, and that this is where we are. We're taking it a step further. We're taking it a step further. How far can we go with this? And it goes back to like just living in total possibility.
Yeah. I remember years ago when I went to India, my teacher said to me, because we were talking about like mental health, depression, anxiety, and we were talking about the energy frequencies. And he said the quickest way to get out of a depression is to be of service. And I remember that stuck with me. And then now, I've always volunteered in shelters and sanctuaries and help, I'm a people pleaser and I'm a fixer, recovering fixer. So I always wanted to help, but now I get it, because the best motivation, depression brings lack of motivation. Like you don't feel like you can do anything, but the best motivation for me that gets me up every morning, even when I've been up all night with dogs with diarrhea, like last night. I was
up all night with horses in the mud.
Is to be of service. And for me, every time I am on one of these Facebook Lives, or I'm on my computer doing work, or we're going back and forth, or we're in meetings, it's not tedious work for me. Whereas if I was in meetings when I worked in real estate, right, it's not work.
How about for the agent?
Oh God, when I worked in the
She worked in the entertainment.
I loved the production. I hope it didn't freeze. Here, everything we do is important.
Part of something bigger.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how you can get through the day, so to speak.
Yeah.
The little stuff.
Linda Gage, hold on, Jerry Lynn Atkins wishes me a happy birthday. Thank you. Linda Gage says, love the shelter project. Amazing work by everyone. Happy birthday, Claudia. Thank you, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Oh, yay. Leah says, I will be working alongside you and the team on the rescue shelters as soon as I can. Yes.
Yes. Yes and yes.
Stacy Krause says, I'm brand new to the community. Thank you for all you do. Amazing energy here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris laughed at Elijah's comment. Craig says, LOL, can I join? Club soda for me, cheap date.
That's all right. There were plenty of people having club soda.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is it wasn't all what it sounded like. It was, there was, and this one right here with her Barbie wine, 2 sips, and like, wow, I'm crazy.
I drink low alcohol wine. She calls it Barbie wine. Shannon says, sorry I couldn't make the trip in person this time, but we're gonna have even more fun when you do come.
Yeah.
Craig says, amen, be of service, no depression. Bernadette, thank you, happy birthday. Shannon says, this work isn't work, it fills my soul, it's fulfilling my purpose in the world. Amen.
Yeah, and it's true. And one of the things that I know that, so I would love to hear now from people. One of the other great things that I didn't mention that we did last year, and I mean, it is one of my favorite things, and it was a whole series called How to Help Animals. And I would love, beyond today, like typing into the thread, what you would love to see. So some of the people that we interviewed, and you can go, and they're on YouTube, and they're probably in the
page. Yeah.
Or here on the page somewhere. We'll find out which unit they're all in. But I interviewed people like people that are, working with and saving species, like Life in, I'm not going to say Life Garrett, but
Cox.
Life Cox in Australia. He works with the orangutans in Sumatra. We had Gabby from the Gibbons Center down the street, which the Gibbons were screaming like crazy with big fun energy when we started this morning. Linda Tucker of the White Lions. We had people that do art. Carol Walker, photographer. Sophie Gamon, photographer that did the whole pit bull flower power. It's in the other room, the book. Yeah. We interviewed Sarah McCrum on money, on the energy of money. So, and that's the thing too. When you're really being of service, it doesn't mean you have to be broke, right? Like that is a really important piece of this. And finding, this is the we interviewed her. And then at the fall intensive, it was the same week that she happened to have an exhibit of her work. And so we got to meet her and see her beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. So anyway, who else did we interview? There were 12.
Andrew Harvey.
Andrew Harvey about sacred activism.
The Whale Museum.
Oh yeah, Jenny from the Whale Museum, where I
fabulous.
did my naturalist training.
There was some Shannon Keith from the Beagle Freedom
Shannon
Project.
Keith from the Beagle Freedom Project. Oh my God, that was huge.
That was huge.
Because beagles are the nicest dogs on the planet, so therefore they are the first to be used in laboratory testing. What we thought about was, instead of doing another 12-week summit of that, to carry it on once a month, and eventually, and like I've said, I'd love to do it as a live event. But I'd love to see if there's somebody you would love to hear from, you want me to interview, somebody that you would want to, and if you have access to somebody, great, let us know. PM us or...
it could be anything from, people who do, like you said, art to help animals, or people who help you fund your...
Yeah, I have a great idea for somebody I'm going to reach out to, because she's got a new book out anyway about funding, and she worked in the nonprofit sector forever. But so I've got a lot of...
So anyone that works directly or indirectly helping change...
Yeah, big change agent, if you will. So that's something that I would love to, bring on and, let their work blossom in this group. And because it's always inspirational, no matter what. I have so many people that I admire, and that's what inspires me. Becky, who went through the program, did teacher training, but she's now doing our social media because teaching is too people-y for her. She may be watching. She stayed here for the weekend, and she knows that because she was part of the work retreat and then ended up staying on, and we really it was just really fun to have her here. And she went through the school. So Shannon went through the first year. I'd say Becky went right in the middle. And so it was fun for her to see the evolution. And, I'm probably not surprised that I still read or listen to a book a week at least, right? My desire to learn and be better is insatiable. And that's why I love things like this format, doing a Facebook Live, because I can bring that to the table. So if you have ideas, or if you got to see the series last year, if you haven't, it's worth just popping it in while you're cleaning house or something, because
it's so
some of those
good.
interviews are the best interviews I've ever done in my life.
There may be some crying.
Yeah, you might cry, might laugh. The Gibbons Center one alone was... My God. We were trying to do the interview, and the Gibbons kept singing. And
finally, we just let them do the Facebook Live.
Yeah, they did the Facebook Live.
It was so amazing.
It was magical.
It was incredible.
Yeah. Incredible.
And we also had she works with Andrew Harvey.
Oh yeah, Jill
with the farm dog.
with her Moon Dog Farm.
Moon Dog Farm. Thank you, Farm Dog.
Yeah, and
Farm Dog Moon.
I'm in another group because we're on a spiritual council for like the not the General Barnum on that too.
The White Lions.
The White Lions. Some of her guinea pigs just had babies, so I've got guinea pig pictures, baby pictures. Oh yes, I do. She's jealous. Anyway. Yeah. So I'd love to hear, and then ultimately, I think that one of the things that happens when we think about, oh, I don't know if I can offer enough, or I can do enough, or I can, we have limiting beliefs. We might have circumstances that are keeping us in place right now, but that also shifts, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't be helpful. You know what? I'll tell you something. I will never forget. I did when Katrina hit. I know that Linda Gage was very powerful. Just like packed up and went to New Orleans, and so did my friend Linda McCoy, and several people I knew did. And I organized with a doggy daycare that we got the story from the paper. I lived in Florida at the time, and so I organized an event with a doggy daycare where there was an auction, and I did free readings in the back, and I did them for free, but we charged like $250 a reading, something like that, and that all went to the thing, and then we had in the lobby of the doggy daycare, we had a drop off for stuff. So I didn't think I wanted to go to New Orleans more than anything in the world, but I had obligations at home that kept me there, and I didn't go. But what I ended up doing, we raised probably $25,000 that night, and then we raised probably another $50,000 in stuff over the next 3 weeks. I didn't work for 3 weeks. I would drive to that doggy daycare, fill up my Dodge Durango, take it to the Tri-County shelter. They loaded all that stuff onto a van, and it went to New Orleans. And I organized from my home with this desk, the whole thing, hay to be delivered to rural spots. Like, I felt like I couldn't do a thing, and I felt terrible. And yet when I look back on, I would come home and organize the hay for places where they were flooded after I dropped off things. I mean, like, I was afraid I was going to get my head cut off with some of the crates sliding when I stopped, you know? So it's like, you forget what's possible when you don't feel like you can do something. And again, it goes back to that depression. You have to still be motivated, like, there must be something I can do.
Anything, a phone call.
Yeah, for me, the phone bank thing of just organizing hay was like...
That's huge.
I don't even know how that came about, but I remember people started emailing me because of the work I was doing with the doggy daycare and the Tri-County shelters there. And the next thing you know, yeah, trucks of hay from Georgia down, and then all around.
One of the things that was almost like a common thread across the board for the How to Help Animals was that everybody said, everybody can do something. If you don't like talking to people and it's too people-y, Becky McPherson, then you can email.
Or become a social media person.
But seriously, like,
yeah, you can be emailing, you can be...
I don't like being on the phone. I like to be in person, active, doing that. So we all have something that we can do, and that limiting belief paralyzes us, and then that's where we feel helpless. And for me, that feeling will take me, and this How to Help Animals series, I really recommend it. It's one of my favorite things we've ever done, will open your mind to, I can be of service in whatever capacity I can be there. That is what I can do. You don't have to be, Ellie Lax from the Gentle Barn.
Oh yeah, that was another one.
That was another one. I know. How did we forget her? You don't have to be Ellie Lax from the Gentle Barn, but you can help at a shelter.
This woman changed the face of how we photograph animals. This was in 2012 or 2013, and I was stalking her back then. But what I would say about that is, up until that point, we were all Sarah McLachlan, like crying at commercials of how sad and pathetic animals looked, and then that's what got adopted, right? So then we're feeling sorry, like that became a theme and a thread, and that's why animals keep getting returned, because when we feel sorry for animals, we let them get away with anything they want. I don't feel sorry for her, but she gets away with anything.
Her face right now, she's like, and?
Yeah, your point is, I'm an Anubis. I do what I want. Anyway, the point is that this sort of thing changed the face of how we photographed, how we viewed animals in that setting. And so maybe nobody's taking good photos, and maybe you're not a great photographer, but maybe there's something you can do in your town, your city, your county, your...
Start local.
Right? That was another big theme, right? Was do something, because we're all linking up in this energetic connection, if you will. And that's where if we just keep moving forward, right? And knowing that we've got this on Tuesdays to connect back up on and be able to share, if you end up doing something that becomes great, maybe it's you that we interview.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be...
And it doesn't have to be great, like, oh my God, I just built the Eiffel Tower. It could be...
I started, picking up dog poop at the local shelter. Like, it could be seriously anything like that. Yeah. Shannon Meyer says it's so inspiring. It was. And Leslie Williams says the whole series was so inspiring.
Thank you.
It was, yeah.
We really loved doing it. And I mean, we could think about doing... I have a lot with the book. It's easier for me to think about doing one a month than doing like that summit we did, because it was like weeks of that.
Yeah, and we tried to cover every aspect and every, for lack of a better word, genre of animals. So we did wildlife, we did.
Yeah, we did shelters, we did sanctuaries, we did, farm sanctuaries, we did. Yeah, so we will continue on that theme of always keeping it balanced throughout this year. But so that's it.
Okay, and it's 1:15.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take a moment, and I want for you to think about how you... What?
I just have to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Craig Walker says, odd duck here. Mindfulness exercise and enjoyable. Picking up dog poop at the dog park. There you go.
There you go.
That we might have to interview. Yeah. No, seriously, like that's huge.
I love seeing things like someone says, I go out running with a trash bag because I go out and pick up all the trash, right? Like that's making a difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So, what I want you to do is to think about whether you're a Leah in just getting started in the school, or a Danielle, or you're just getting started in the school, or you're not in the school, you don't know what you want to do, or you're graduating. I want you to take a moment and see how you really feel into and see how you would help animals. What is going to be different this year? What is going to be different this year for you? How can you make one incremental bigger step or a giant leap? What is it that's going to help you be of service in a way that you haven't? And I want you to just take a moment and put both feet on the ground And really breathe into it. Breathe into the bottom of your feet. Ground your own energy. But also have an awareness of the energy around you. That energy that even if we aren't in the same physical location is all connected. So I am connected with you in Minneapolis and Mexico and Vermont and Amsterdam and Northern California and Florida. Like, we are all connected by this energy. And knowing that with this vision, no matter how big or small it is, this connection that we all share, we're going to elevate everything by just being connected, staying connected, and moving forward with our vision. So just hold that vision for a moment. Just see it. It could be a big bird's eye view of your vision, or it could be a specific thing you do. But I want you to be aware of the colors, the senses around you, the other people that are with you, the animals that are with you. And I want you to be hyper aware, almost like you're going into your senses even bigger. And I want you to feel the feelings. Like, are you excited? Are you proud of yourself? Do you feel satiated? Do you feel relief that you're able to do this finally? What are the feelings you feel? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel rich with experience? And I want you to send those feelings into our connected field. And I want you now to come back into the room, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and open your eyes. And just say yes to the possibility. We don't even know what it is, but we're doing it. I mean, we have an idea, and like I said, there are all these things to look forward to this year, but we're expanding upon an idea that just is blossoming forth, and I would imagine that each of you have something in there that is similar for you. And I invite you to really just continue to feel into it for the next few days and see if, when I do this sort of an exercise, I all of a sudden get the download of how to do it. And so this is the sort of thing I spend a lot of time doing. I still take a lot of action, but I feel into my vision, the feelings, the world, bring it back to myself, and then I take action. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Is there any last comments? Feel into your field and know that we're all connected.
One comment, Jerry-Lynn Atkins says, I feel like working with animals on some capacity is my purpose work, but I don't know specifically what that is yet. Stick around with us.
Yeah, hang out. You can always call Shannon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.